see the mouth flaps moving, you see the words on the page, and then there's a time code to the left of those, and you have to correspond the time code on the page to the time code that you see scrolling by, and when you see it, and then you'll hear a beep, 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 go, and then you say that line, and you have to make it fit in those. And
that's the thing. That's someone's job.
Text for editing. Yeah. So you see the
yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know why?
You see the thing.
Because the show's already been aired in Japan, right?
Yeah.
So we just watch the show as if it's on the TV, and at the bottom of the TV is full time.
Yeah.
So it corresponds to the, and you just do it line by line by line, and we all go in by ourselves.
And that's someone's job is, you know, in the whole process.
And in anime, mostly, the process of recording is called ADR, which basically means lip syncing English to the picture, but we're doing English dub. And we do it line by line by line. So we don't even hear the other actors necessarily before our lines and after our lines. So that's challenging for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have it. That's why we kind of prefer to do the prelay format, because you're working in a group of actors all together.
And it's fun.
So that's why
A bunch of
it's more
monkeys in a
difficult
room.
in anime to give that real true essence of connecting. So the actors that can't do that will like,
And you know who else has a really hard job in anime is the people that have to translate.
yes.
Because I know I speak a little Japanese, I learned a little Japanese, but I used to do it when one of my first jobs was working at Ocean Studios with Stiff and Hercules, and they had these translations that were done, but they were so poorly translated, and then I had to go back and forth and watch the mouth flaps and try and make this terrible sentence fit into and make it so that the story keeps flowing. I did that for about 2 days.
It was new.
And I was like, this sucks. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was really brand new, the whole thing.
And not only was that new, but we never had the digital audio machines we have now. So in those days, you couldn't just take a line and then the editors just snip it or fit it into where it should be with the voices, which they can do now. At that point, there wasn't none of that, so we had to just beep, 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 give a line, and if we were too long or too short, we had to do it again until we matched it exactly. We had to do that. Now they can snip it and edit it.
There's some room for nudging now.
We had more to do back then. It was brand new. Everyone was new, so we were trying to feel our way.
I guess you can, with the new visual editing, probably, because I know some of the voice actors were saying, I'll go into the studio, I'll do my lines for this character, and then I'll have like another equipment, and I guess it's a lot easier now to just do multiple characters in a day than it would have been back when we first started.
Well, yeah, it is because we don't have to worry about all those extra possibilities. And like even us, sometimes the actors would recommend changing the line to something else because it didn't fit. Or that we don't have to worry that the machines are going to crash now. Overloading. It used to crash all the time. I used to do some casting and directing in the early days. And I remember sessions where we're just like, sorry, the machines just crashed, so we have to wait 10 minutes. And there's like one set, there's one person's audition. Like,
The paper recorder broke.
so, yeah. So we don't have to worry about those things anymore. And it's also working on the producer to have you do multiple voices.
Can you tell me what a line producer does?
A line producer usually handles the monies, don't they? I think.
Well, a line producer, in my mind, is more, I know the term more with on camera, film,
It's
TV.
just, it's something you see a lot in anime, but you'll also see, artists, but you'll also see that it's usually a voice actor who does it as well.
Well, I think-
Right, everything.
Traditionally, I think a line producer is actually looking at the product, sort of an after-record product, and they're doing the mixing, and they're doing some editing, and they're doing some fixing up. So I think a line editor means everything's recorded.
Oh, a line editor.
Watching it.
Line producer. Okay. A line editor. Maybe. Is that what you're talking about? Because I thought a line producer was somebody that does budgets and budgeting.
Well, line producer in film and television
yeah.
is different.
That's what
I don't know.
That's a good question. That'd be a good question for the directors.
Yeah.
I frequently see it done by someone who's also in the actual cast.
Well, that might be just a budgetary
definitely,
thing.
definitely.
That might be where you want to have to save money.
That happens.
So-
We're not exactly sure.
It is mostly like old Funimation stuff, so.
I can see that small startup companies that were trying to get their product out there.
Yeah.
And they're small, they're 5 people working there, it's like, well, I'm the actor, but I'm the producer, I'm the voice director, I'm the caterer.
Chief cook and bottle washer.
Yes, it is.
But why would you have the name before me?
What would you guys like to see happen? Like, what would ideally you like to see in another anime series as far as, you know, plot or direction? Do you have any of those ideas?
Let's bring voice more killing.
More
That's
killing.
It's a blood.
I like all of this going out into space and all these really fast strangers are awesome, but I'd like to see something like a little bit closer to home. Something that you don't feel like I'm watching all this. And these animes are based on real stuff. They don't have giant robots or anything.
Yeah.
Real stuff.
So more of a human element?
Really like.
Because that's all relationship driven. It's
You get water.
I have to drink all this water? Catch.
Well, that's good to know about your skepticism.
Yeah, no, I really agree. Like, I'm glad it's like, you know, it's kind of that way.
We sure hope so.
Yeah, sure. Not a huge shift, like the fantasy stuff, it's really great. But I feel like a nice small organization. That'd be great.
That'll be interesting for the creators to hear that. Because I think
And swords, so many robots, giant robots the size of galaxies, which is awesome.
you know what it hasn't turned out? It's always a little bit more male than it's rocks.
You know, every person who goes out there and fights with a big sword has to come home at some point. And what happens when they get home? No, they come to the door, they put a big sword on the sword hanger. The girlfriend and the boyfriend's at home, it's like, tough day, fighting daddies.
I don't know if I can take it anymore.
You have a question?
I was gonna say, just adding on to the, what you want to see, I'd like to see more artist-driven Western animation.
Yeah, I
Because, you know, it makes it easier for everyone involved, you know, you're talking about what a laborious process it is today, you know, our Japanese stuff, and, you know, if you have the option of working with, you know, artist-driven Westerns animation as opposed to always, you know, giant houses, like, you know, someone can do something almost entirely on their own, like Voices of Innocent Star was done in Japan, with like one man and his friends, you know, in his basement, working on this thing, you know, and with, you know, with your own tablets, you know, drawing stuff, and working on stuff, and getting involved.
You know what, there's so much money.
There are a lot of stuff like that is happening. More stuff is happening here. Like Studio B and Nerdcore are really heading up a new generation of animation here. And schools and new animation schools and some that are tried and true. Like the school you're going to is a really good one. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot of the new animation coming from. It's going to be people like you and people like you, the artists, that are going to have to head up this spearhead, like make it happen. I know that Studio B, they're just, you know, they're making a lot of money and there's a lot of good artists in town and there's no shortage of ideas as much as people want to believe that. I don't believe it. I think that's just lazy brains, you know. But there's some really good.